Hi, this is Roger. This video is going to show how to remove all of those COM ports that you have built up from plugging many Moxies into your computer. And then it's going to set it so that it doesn't keep incrementing the COM port number every time that you plug in a new Moxie. So in order to do this, we need to go to the website called www.ftdichip.com/support/utilities.htm. And on this page, there's two utilities that we need to download to make this happen. So the first one, scroll down until you get to one that is called Ignore Hardware Serial Number Registry Editor Utility. And here it says download the utility exe file here. So I'm going to click on that, and that one will start downloading. Then we want to scroll down further until we get to the CDM Uninstaller 1.4, Windows Device Driver Uninstaller. So this is the utility that will remove all of those COM ports that have already been installed. So down at the bottom it says download CDM Uninstaller. And so I'll click on that so that that one downloads. Then I'm going to go to my downloads directory where these files are. Downloads. And I need to use the CDM uninstaller first. So I'm going to right click on that and click on extract all, and we'll just let that extract right here. I've already done this once before. You shouldn't get that error. Copy and replace. Okay, so now I've got the CDM uninstaller ready to go. I'm going to run the GUI the CDM uninstaller GUI.exe, and whenever we run this, and this is a special thing, we have to right click on it and then run as administrator, because this is going to be making modifications to things that are installed on the computer. So it's very important that you right click and click on run as administrator. Then it'll ask me if I want to allow it to make changes. I'll say yes. So now, in this case, the vendor ID for FTDI is the 0403, which it's already put in here. The product ID could be a number of different numbers, so I'm just going to delete it, which essentially makes it'll delete any FTDI product IDs off of the device. So I've got 0403 and blank. Then I'm going to click add. And then I am going to click on remove devices. So this will remove all of the COM ports. So like if you've plugged in a whole bunch of Moxies, you get a new COM port each time. This is going through and removing that right now. And then it says device removed from system. So that step is done. So we can just exit out of the uninstaller. Okay, now we want to go back to our downloads directory. And now we need to run the other utility, which is the ignore serial number.exe. And again, we have to run this as an administrator. So right click on it and click on run as administrator. And say yes. And now it brings up this dialog box. And so we need to select the device type. In our case, this is the FTX series. That's the series of FTDI chip that we're using. And then we want to click on the write button, which will write the commands in the Windows registry to ignore the serial number when you plug in new Moxies. So I'll just click on write, and it said write finish. So it's modified the registry for us. So then I will exit this, and now when we plug in a new Moxie, we should see that that it's going to install the drivers because we deleted them. So I'm going to plug in a Moxie here. And now we get the installing device driver window, and I clicked on the message down below so we see this. Now it has to install two drivers in order for the Moxie to work, and we have to wait for both of them to be finished before we go on to the next step. So I'm just going to pause the video while we wait for this step to complete. Okay, now we can see that this Moxie has completed the driver installation, and we can see that it is installed as COM number 3. Now if I unplug this Moxie, which is number 34, and I plug in number 27, it's just going to continue to use COM3. You can see it's not trying to install drivers again because it recognizes, it's ignoring the serial number. So it's going to, even though I plugged in a different Moxie, it's going to also be in COM3. Now what we have to be aware of is if we plug into a new USB port, it is going to reinstall the drivers for that different USB port. So now if I plug this Moxie into a different port on my computer, it's going on and it's installing drivers again just like it did on the other port. So the way this is going to end up is any Moxie that I plug into that first port will be in COM3, and any Moxie that I plug into that second port will be a COM4. And so that's how things, and then it'll stay that way even as you keep plugging in new Moxies. You won't have any more COM ports than what you have USB ports. So that's and with that, that's the extent of what we need to do.